Let's talk about how do you build a successful ambassador program? What are there some key learnings you can share in terms of how to actually penetrate colleges and have them have students that actually rep you?
Yeah, I think one thing that's true to everything that we do in Flock U is everything's peer to peer. It's peer to peer content. It's peer to peer marketing. So we also do peer to peer recruiting. So once we really it was simple. Once we had our initial base of content creators that we call flockers, those content creators were responsible for going out and recruiting other flockers. So because we pay everybody for their content, and the more successful the content is, the more that we pay them, or the more viral that it goes, the more views, the more shares, the more that we pay them. It was a great benefit not only for these aspiring journalists or these aspiring communication majors, but it gave them extra money in their pocket to be able to go enjoy college and not be so stressed. So what better way to be able to do recruiting than to have themselves do the recruiting? So the ambassador program was no different. Is you really start with a small select group of people. We generally started in the East Coast area, and we incented them to go out there and do the recruiting for us. And we saw that because it was coming from the actual students themselves, the stickability was stronger, the passion was stronger, and the communication was stronger because they were really doing something that their friends were doing as well. So it really starts from a virality perspective. We start with a group of people, and if we're doing the right job and we're offering the right product, it should be spreading that way.
So that's really interesting. But you brought up the pay structure for flockers to begin with for content. Can you explain a little bit about how you established that and what are those guidelines?
Yeah, so I will honestly say how we established it was just a shot in the dark. We didn't know what we were doing when we first started, but we said, you know what, we're self-financed, we're not venture capital based, so we don't have to answer to anybody. We can start to test and we can start to experiment with a lot of different things, and that's exactly what we did. And what we saw was that the more that we can pay these people, as long as it was within reason, the more engagement we had, the more passion they had, and the more that they would go tell their friends. So we really wanted to start with something. So our philosophy was simple in the beginning. We said any piece that gets accepted, not just any piece that gets submitted, any piece that gets accepted. And we accept probably about 60% of the content. We were going to pay $50, a flat fee for. And we saw people jumping on it like it was crazy, like it was the next best thing. And because, again, being able to make that extra money in college is a huge, huge plus. What we saw was, though, is that we were being, while we were being hyper selective in our curation process for the product that goes out there, we really weren't seeing the flockers doing their end of the business, and we really wanted to look at this thing from a team perspective. So, instead of us just doing the sharing and the amplification, we really wanted them to be able to get it out into their own networks. And where a large percentage of them were doing it, there was also a percentage that wasn't. So we said to ourselves, let's go to an incentive-based program, which really made all the difference in the world, where we were going to compensate heavier the top 50% of the content on a weekly basis that was being shared or viewed, and we would have a sliding scale going up there. So not only are we providing money to buy this content from them, we're also incenting them to be able to do what ordinarily people should be doing, which is really amplifying it throughout all their channels and getting it in the hands of their community.
So just to understand, like $50 was the buy-in, like to get the product, to get the actual content. And
Yep.
then when you went to an actual incentive-based program, you paid them more money to share it, or you used that same $50 and tiered it differently.
Yeah, so the bottom is now 50, and then we go all the way up to $100 to be able to share out the product. And again, not just that piece. That doesn't include the dollars we're putting towards amplification and promotion and offsite promotions. So again, for them, it's where we've used the $50 as the bottom now and be able to send them the more they share.
Okay, I understand. So now you've given them an additional incentive to go out there and actually use social media and some of these other things and share it with their peers and other students across.
You got it.
Okay, very, very cool. So with this strategy, you're now in colleges across the country where people are actually writing content, sharing content, and distributing content between each other. For the peer-to-peer ambassador program, when you're like people are going out and actually recruiting others to become flockers, is there an incentive model for that?
There is. So we incent them also. We give them a dollar amount for every flocker that they recommend to us, as well as any new ambassador that they recommend to us as well.
And as a result of having all of these models and I mean these pay models, which do earn these students money, is there some type of percentage you've seen that it actually works with? Like, is there kind of a we have a 10% conversion rate of people who actually become consistent flockers, or do you?
I think it's a great question. I can't answer that holistically. What I can tell you is, matter of fact, we just did a study on this because we were changing some of our content strategy a little bit, and we wanted to see really the stickability of content. So we just launched our product, our full product, in March of this year, and we were building it kind of in stealth mode for about 8 months prior. We just launched the new product in March of this year. 88% of the flockers, the content creators that have been with us since March, are still writing for us today.
Wow. Okay. So
Yeah,
so you have that loyalty from your user base.
yeah, and listen, I think I like to say that it's great loyalty. It's because we're doing the right job. Money plays a big role in it. You know, it really does. Is it gives them extra money for doing things that they actually love to do. So I think we're treating them right. We're giving them a great platform from a journalistic perspective. We're giving them great technology where we ingest it and we allow them to edit on the fly. But at the end of the day, it's a job for them, right? But it's a passion job. And as long as we continue doing what we're doing by giving them a great platform that we can amplify, and as long as they continue doing what they're doing by giving us great content that's being consumed, then the sky's the limit for them.
Why do you think so many companies fail to penetrate the college market? Because this is a real, everybody wants to be in the college market. Everybody thinks there's millions of dollars in the college market, but yet many companies who have attempted businesses, regardless that it's apps or that it's real product or anything else, through the college market, really either fall flat or run out of money.
Authenticity.
Okay, can
Authenticity.
you define that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I think, and by the way, like I said, I put myself in that example. If I went at this thing of trying to hire staff writers to try to penetrate this marketplace because we think that content is so strong, we would never get the virality or the penetration that we're looking for. The fact that we leave it up to the actual college students themselves to either represent our brand, represent our customers' brands, or just to be able to provide content for us really creates this fourth pillar of marketing, which is authentic marketing, which is really leaving it in the hands of the college students to determine what brands they want to be able to have marketed to them, to be able to decide what brands they want to be able to market for, to be able to decide which content they want to be able to put out there for their community to see. So we're leaving it in the hands of them, which there's no better way than to create authenticity by putting it in the hands of the community themselves. So I think that's an answer to answer your question. I think there's been a lot of there's been no shortage in the past and also today of companies that are trying to penetrate the marketplace, especially from a publication perspective. And that was where we decided early on that we wanted to take this vertical integrated approach, that not only did we want to own the content that's written by the college students, we want to be able to put the marketing on behalf of the college students as well.